Hey, it's Ira Wiley. What the heck is happening in Victoria's real estate market? Summer is winding down, and we've had another big interest rate hike from the Bank of Canada, this time 75 basis points. And I can only describe what I'm seeing in the market right now as one word: turmoil. Every time there's a big interest rate hike, we see the same thing, which is instability, confusion, and an unpredictable market, which is exactly what's happening right now. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos like this, and I follow a lot of blogs out there in Victoria, Vancouver, and Toronto. And one thing I've really noticed that I find interesting is that even though we're all drawing from the same statistics, the message is really mixed about what's happening out there. Some people say the market's going up, some people say the market's going down, and no one really knows exactly what's happening. And I think this is because different segments of the market are reacting very differently to the interest rate hikes. For example, out on the West Shore, spec homes, developments, and pre-sales are slowing down in a big way. On the other hand, in the luxury market, prices are still going up there for waterfront properties. There's a lot of money still coming into Victoria, and entry-level condos, they're still being snapped up really fast, oftentimes over asking price, just because I think there's students coming back into town, and it's all a first-time homebuyer can afford right now. The good news is overall prices in Victoria haven't gone down that much, not compared to what we're seeing out in Toronto. So Victoria has been relatively immune to what's happened, but that soon could change. And I think the fall is going to be the true test and direction of where all this is headed. I'm seeing two kinds of sellers out there. So first, we've got stubborn sellers who maybe are still focused on that comparable sale from earlier this year of their neighbor's house that went for over asking, unconditional, and they're holding on to that sale price and they're not going to let their house go for any less. Perhaps they have no mortgage, perhaps they have a low fixed rate or a very small mortgage, and they can just afford to be patient and see what happens. They're probably also seeing the high cost of living, that if they sell, their cash won't really go that far. They're willing to wait and they're in no rush to sell. The other kind of sellers I'm seeing are those that are a little bit more motivated and perhaps they've over leveraged themselves. Maybe they bought a pre-sale development and now that it's coming up to completion, they're seeing that the monthly payment they were quoted 2 years ago is nowhere near what they're going to be paying today, and they're a little bit more desperate to sell. Then there's other people who have personal reasons, such as a divorce or maybe an estate sale. They're also motivated. They're willing to accept the discount, and they might be a bit more inclined to be nervous and think that prices are going to go down quite a lot in Victoria. So we've got these two different groups of sellers who are definitely sending a mixed message now about where the prices are in Victoria. On the buyer side, most of my clients are in a holding pattern. So they generally think that either prices will be flat or they'll go down a little bit. So either way, they're willing to wait and see what happens, which I think makes sense given what we're seeing out there. But it really comes down to the individual buyer. If they're paying high monthly rent or they're not happy with their accommodation right now, for example, a one-bedroom condo in Victoria is over $2,000 a month rent, then they may be a little bit more motivated to buy and they'll just bite the bullet. Then at least at the high interest rate, they can start building some equity in a home and not paying rent. I want to share one example here. So someone buying a $1.2 million home back in February of 2022 with about 2.5% interest rate was paying about $4,200 a month in a mortgage. Today, if they could get that home for maybe $1.1 million, which is realistic given the little bit decline we've seen in home prices in Victoria, that monthly payment now becomes $5,000 a month for the same home. So homes are a lot less affordable today because those prices are still sticking in Victoria, but interest rates have gone up considerably. That home has to drop to $900,000 to cost the same monthly payment as it did earlier in the year. And we just haven't seen a 25% drop in prices. I don't know if we will. I'm thinking maybe 5 to 10% at most, but we're going to have to see how this all plays out. There's been no slowdown in out-of-town and out-of-province buyers coming into Victoria. It's still a very desirable place to retire to. So that's another reason that perhaps our market is staying afloat and weathering this storm better than other markets in Canada. Even though prices haven't come down much, I would say the biggest change I have seen is how long properties sit on the market now. Buyers can come back for a second or third look, which was unheard of a year ago, and they can make conditional offers. Most offers now are conditional. So you can do the home inspection, you can take your time with the financing, and I think it gives everyone a lot more breathing room to make an informed decision, which I think is a good thing. Subject to sale offers, these haven't really come back much, and I don't think they will. Subject to sale requires a nice stable market to really thrive in. One segment that has slowed down dramatically are vacant lots, land assemblies, any kind of development opportunity. And I think this makes a lot of sense given the high cost of loans. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 years to maybe get through your zoning process. And people just don't want to tie up their cash for that long and pay so much interest. We've also got really high construction costs still, material costs, the cost of labor is still also very high. So until these come down, which is the Bank of Canada's plan, I don't think we're going to see any big rush on development properties right now. A lot of economists say there's maybe a 6-month lag before the interest rate hikes really take effect and we see the true results of them. And I think that's true in that I don't think the August and end of summer stats give us a clear picture of where we're headed. I think in the next few months, we'll see the end to this sort of standoff with those stubborn sellers, if they're going to accept the reality that, yes, prices have shifted here. How much, we don't know. But I think the next few months and this fall is going to really show where the trend is and will probably dictate where things are headed for the next few years. Because we probably are nearing the end of the interest rate hikes. So I'm very curious to see what happens over this fall and into the new year. I often think back to February where I wrote an offer on a house in Colwood. So they had 33 offers on it and obviously only one person got the home. But I do wonder what happened to those other 32 buyers. Did they buy homes and what are their thoughts right now? I would love to hear your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Perhaps you were one of those buyers, so let me know if you're in a holding pattern now, or maybe you've just stepped away from the market entirely, or you managed to buy a home. Please let me know. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below so I can make more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.